The IMF has sanctioned the release of $1 billion in a second tranche of Pakistan's extended fund facility and a new $1.3 billion resilience and sustainability facility, totaling $2.3 billion, amid heightened hostilities along the international border and line of control. Multiple Pakistani provocations have triggered a strong response from Indian forces. In Punjab's Firozpur, a Pakistani drone attack injured 3 civilians, now being treated for burn injuries. SSP Bhupinder Singh Sidhu confirmed the incident and stated that most drones had been neutralised by the army. Meanwhile, in Kathua's Lakhanpur sector, an incoming drone was destroyed by Indian air defence systems on the ground. Pakistani rangers opened fire at multiple points along the Jammu and Samba international border. The Border Security Force is retaliating effectively to these ceasefire violations. Drone attacks have also been attempted in Rajasthan's Barmer, Jaisalmer and areas near Pokhran. In response, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Chiefs of Forces are chairing a high-level meeting. Well, of course, this situation is continuing to unfold. Deferred visuals that you are seeing from Jammu amid strikes that have been reported. We are joined by Ajay Janjal, a correspondent with NewsX, joining us. Ajay, what can you tell us about where you are right now?
Pardon, please repeat the question.
Yes, Ajay, can you tell us what's happening on the ground where you are right now?
Intense shelling is going on in different part of the line of control in the international border area as well. Right now, when we are speaking, we are traveling on a international border area where I can hear the sound of the explosion which is taking place here on ground zero, Samba, Arispura area. These are the areas where one can hear the sound of heavy, firing from both the side, and this is the international border, and on the line of control area, even firing is going on over there on the line of control area as well. According to information, Uri, Kupara, Baramula, Kupara, and then Punch, Rajouri, Naushera, and the Akhnur sector is the area where intense shelling from the Pakistan side is going on. Forces are saying that the intention seems to be to disturb peace by targeting the civilians live over here on the line of control and the international border area as well. But yesterday we have seen that how this civilians were targeted and 17 people have died till now, whereas operations still continue because no one knows when Pakistan is going to stop it, because Pakistan does the same thing in the past as well. So definitely it's a challenging situation for the forces, but they believe that soon they will be able to basically utilize that threat and definitely decimate all the infrastructure and terrorism from Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, absolutely. Ajay, of course, joining us as Jammu Bureau Chief. Thank you very much for being here with us. We will now move to Berzine Wagmar, who is a foreign affairs expert, joining us from London. Berzine, thank you ever so much for being here with us. Of course, at the top of this programme, we also mentioned the International Monetary Fund and the release of $2.3 billion in loans to Pakistan. Of course, this coming amid provocations that we have now seen in recent days, a live situation going on across north and west of India. Questions being raised about what these funds may be used for. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first things first, Joshua, the funds, of course, were committed prior to the conflict breaking out and even the Pahalgam terrorist attack in India. That must be foregrounded, naturally. But the fact that the second tranche was released and announced today is significant in that it would afford Pakistan a bolster that somehow the international community will not abandon it. And that in turn reinforces its sense of exaggerated victimhood, that as if Pakistan is a frontline state combating terrorism, and it is actually helping the West to do so, which is, of course, simply flies in the face of reality because Pakistan is where most of these terror training camps are located, not just for combat operations against India, but also for against Uzbekistan, Iran, and others, all in Pakistan's regional neighborhood who have complained about these activities of the Pakistani deep state. So what will happen, indeed has happened, is that this would vindicate to Pakistan's triumphalist ideologues, particularly in the military and the deep state, that the West will not abandon it and it can continue in its pursuit of policies as it deems fit, namely targeting India through subconventional warfare and proxy non-state acts.
Yes, absolutely. We bring you some more breaking developments now, and it's coming from Washington. The White House has confirmed that US Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in contact with both India and Pakistan amid rising tensions along the line of control. In a statement issued just moments ago, the White House emphasised that President Donald Trump continues to engage with key foreign policies and has urged both nations to pursue immediate de-escalation. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has acknowledged the discussion. Let's listen in.
U.S. efforts to mediate or have an impact on the conflict between India and Pakistan?
Sure, I absolutely can. This is something that the Secretary of State and, of course, now our National Security Advisor as well, Marco Rubio, has been very much involved in. The President has expressed he wants to see this de-escalate as quickly as possible. He understands these are two countries that have been at odds with one another for decades, long before President Trump was here in the Oval Office. However, he has good relationships with the leaders of both countries, and the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, I spoke to him just yesterday. He has been in constant communication with the leaders of both countries.
Well, we've had another diplomatic development aimed at easing rising tensions between India and Pakistan. Saudi Arabia's Deputy Foreign Minister has met with both Pakistan's Prime Minister and Army Chief following a visit to Delhi. Sources confirm the Saudi official, who has been engaged in shuttle diplomacy in the region, is working to de-escalate tensions between the two nuclear-armed neighbours. The meetings in Islamabad are seen as part of efforts to encourage dialogue and reduce the risk of further military conflict. Well, joining us once again is Berzin Wagmar. I'd like to get your thoughts on this, please. Of course, the diplomatic consensus has been de-escalation, but given the action we've seen last night and we're seeing tonight, though it's unconfirmed, it's from Pakistan, I think we can all be fairly confident that there is activity from Pakistan tonight. Is the diplomatic effort working, and what more is needed to push towards de-escalation?
It is too early to conjecture if it's working because these things inevitably occur behind scenes. But what can be surmised as we're on air is this. Foreign Minister Arakchi from Tehran was in New Delhi a day or two ago, but that was again a pre-arranged visit due to an Indo-Iranian Joint Economic Commission talks. And of course, now it's spilled over into the current issue because Foreign Minister Arakchi went to Islamabad also to quell tensions. He would have had a word with his Indian counterpart too, but the Iranians will not count for much in the scheme of things with either New Delhi or Islamabad because Iran has complicated relations with both traditional foes. Putting that aside, we come to the Riyadh factor, and Foreign Minister Jubair, who was in New Delhi and now is visiting his Pakistani counterparts. The Saudis do matter immensely to Pakistan, much more than Washington or London ever could or would. And in fact, they're right up there alongside Beijing, because both of them look upon Pakistan as a client state, Saudi Arabia and China. And the Saudis' staying hand might turn the tide in order to de-escalate. But what would ensue, and would Pakistan relent, is another question. But the pressure from the Saudis, if so, tacitly speaking, would count for something, because Islamabad can ill afford to ignore overtures from either the Saudis or the Chinese.
Berzine Wagmar, thank you ever so much for joining us. We will, of course, continue to bring you more updates from the ongoing tensions between India and Pakistan. The situation is live and evolving. Of course, we will be across all of those developments, and we are getting some more breaking news coming in just now. Drones have been sighted at 26 locations, ranging from Baramulla in the north to Bhuj in the south, along both the international border and the line of control with Pakistan. These include suspected armed drones posing potential threats to civilian and military targets. The locations include Baramulla, Srinagar, Avintapura, Nagrota, Jammu, Ferozpur, Pathankot, Fazilka, Lalgarh Jatta, Jaisalmer, Baramer, Bhuj, Karbet and Lakni Nala. This, of course, an evolving and continuing situation. This follows, of course, confirmation earlier from the Ministry of External Affairs that last night 300 to 400 drones were sent from Pakistan into Indian territory. These visuals we are showing you now from earlier on tonight. Lights being turned off. Apparent drones in the sky. Sounds of explosions. We will bring you all of those updates, but we move on now. And Iran has agreed